Hey, thank you and good evening. I have a couple of things to get started. First item is approval of tonight's agenda. Can I have a motion to approve that agenda?
Moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion of the agenda? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. That passes. Thank you. The next one is approval of the Board of Education meeting minutes from September 21st. Can I have a motion?
Moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion of the September 21st meeting minutes? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The next one,
I'd like to abstain.
all right, we have 6 and 1 abstention.
Well, I wasn't here.
Okay.
Just talked about this. I know we did, but I can still abstain.
You can.
Can you strike that from the record? All right. The next one is approval of the Board of Education meeting minutes. I need a motion to approve the Board of Education meeting minutes from September 28th. We have a motion and a second. I'll remind you that that was the tax hearing where the district actually reduced the tax rate that night. So any discussion of that meeting minutes? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Are there any abstentions? That passes 7 to nothing. Thank you. Patron comments. I understand we do not have any patron comment cards this evening, so we'll move on to superintendent and board comments, and I will turn that over to Dr. Knost.
Good evening.
Evening.
Good to see everyone. A few fun things to talk about in the Rockwood School District. President Dole just mentioned our tax rate hearing. Just to kind of give everybody an update, the Rockwood Board of Education approved the 2017-18 tax rate at the September 28 meeting. That rate approved by the Missouri State Auditor represents a decrease of 16.63 cents from last year's tax rate. A lot of people don't stay informed on tax rates and how they fluctuate and what that means, but it's so important. We've been such good fiscal stewards in Rockwood, and you know, even with our last 2 bond issues totaling over $160 million, we know that we have put ourselves on a path to basically diminish the vast majority of that debt within 10 years. And we're just in really good financial shape, and thanks to the leadership also of Paul Northington, our CFO. But we are, our tax rate is actually quite a bit lower today than it was prior to 2 bond issues ago. And obviously there's other things that drive taxes, and that's assessed valuation. Some people have that backwards sometimes, but with our new tax rate in the Rockwood School District, a homeowner with a $250,000 home will see a net decrease over the previous year of $78.99. Now that's assuming that the valuation of that home doesn't change. So even though our tax rate goes down, we don't control the value they put on the home. So if the valuation goes up, which is definitely the case when our tax rate usually is going down, so it can be confusing to some folks. But I think it's important for folks to realize that the good fiscal stewardship that we provide, and the oversight by the board, and Paul's efforts as CFO. So that's all good news. Chesterville Elementary School has been named a 2017 National Blue Ribbon School. Very exciting. U.S. Department of Education honored 8 schools in the state of Missouri. Commissioner of Education Margie Van Dieven said these schools have done outstanding work in preparing their students to succeed. As a previous National Blue Ribbon recipient, Chesterville Elementary understands the importance of student leadership, and this work has yielded a high rate of achievement and positive behavior among students. Not all that long ago, the way you became a Missouri Gold Star school or a National Blue Ribbon school is that you would apply for it. You would seek that out and apply. You can't do that any longer. Basically, you do your hard work, and if the federal, on the federal level, if they decide that the data that they see reflects that you're a National Blue Ribbon school, they name you as such. So usually that comes after, well, it always comes after you're named as a Missouri Gold Star at the state level, because they use the same data points. So that's exciting news. Being named a National Blue Ribbon School is a high honor. Congratulations to Principal Dr. Meg Brooks. We're definitely proud of the Chesterfield school community and their work promoting academic excellence for all children. 3 of our board members attended the student celebration the other day, and it was a lot of fun to see the kids excited and to get to explain to them what it's all about. And you can tell they all get it on some level, but they're just happy to celebrate. So it was a fun time.
And then when she announced that there was a stuff outside,
Yes.
inflatables.
Yeah. Yeah, she said that word inflatables. I didn't even really know what she said, and they clearly did go crazy, and it was fun to watch them afterwards.
The mayor too.
The mayor.
The mayor, the
Yes.
kids in the
Yes.
front. That was funny.
Yeah, they introduced, Meg Brooks introduced the mayor, and we're sitting up on stage, so we had the advantage of seeing all the kids, and my eyes locked in on a kindergartner when she said the mayor of Chesterfield, and this little kindergartner went, she was just in awe that a mayor would be at their school. So a couple of Friday nights ago, under the lights on the Eureka High School football field, the Wildcats football team made Best Buddies the organization they chose to highlight at Friday Night Lights. Best Buddies is a program that offers one-to-one friendship and leadership development designed to positively impact students with and without disabilities. And one parent said that just having that connection is important. Their daughter is really good with her phone, and now she's so excited she'll come running in and say, "One of my buddies texted me." And another one said hi in the lunchroom, and it's just overwhelming. That's all the words of a student. Perhaps the Best Buddies demonstrates the power of adolescent peer connection and being socially acknowledged at a very important time of life. The Friday Night Lights was picked on a night when the football team, the way the suburban conference is set up, the football teams actually have a bye week occasionally, and they have for the last couple of years hosted this Friday Night Lights event, and it's really it's grown. Other schools do it in other districts, and Eureka's is growing to be a pretty big event. So it's an awesome thing. I commend them. All right, and let's see. Periodically, Rockwood School District is going to ask community members to rock the world with kindness. We've shared this in the past, and we're excited to see this work continue. And we'd like you to watch what happened at Westridge when we asked the question, what is kindness?
Kindness is, well, here, let me explain.
Kindness is when you're nice to someone without being asked, or if someone's having difficulty doing something, then you'll just go and help them out of your own heart.
My friends, they were racing, and those friends didn't let me race with them. But then my friend Marco said, "It's okay, Queen. You can run with me."
When I fell on the track 3 weeks ago, a girl stopped running and helped me up. It made me feel like respected or cared for because she took the time out of her lap to help me.
There's someone, he blames everything. He uses pencil to touch my stuff. But today, I couldn't believe it. He said, "I'm sorry for touching your stuff." And I was shocked. He hugged it out. That was really nice of him. Now that is kind. If I be kind to someone, it makes me happy, and if someone does something kind to me, I feel happy, and then they feel happy. And if someone is being kind to you, make sure that you return it back with more kindness. So you should be kindness to everyone and fill other buckets up.
entirely unscripted, just to make sure we remember that. We can learn so much from just listening to our kids. Just a few other things. I wanted to introduce Debbie Brewer. Debbie, say hi to everyone. Debbie is in the doctoral degree program, Educational Leadership at Maryville, so she is familiar with Dr. Kinder. And occasionally grad students in those programs are asked to go out and shadow superintendents, and in my case, I send them to Janet, and she decides when in my schedule it makes sense for somebody to come and shadow. So we're glad to have Debbie tonight. Thanks for being here. Debbie works in the Washington School District, and we're glad to have you. Thanks for being here. And the final thing I wanted to do, and just one last time, you heard President Dole make a little joke about it earlier. I just feel so bad. I have to publicly apologize to Randy Miller at our Chesterfield celebration the other day. We had Laura Lee Mondel and Tammy Romberg and Randy Miller, and the agenda was set where there were going to be introductions, and then there was going to be I think we did a pledge and the national anthem, and then I was on the agenda to make comments to the kids, which I was fully prepared to do. And at one point, Dr. Brooks took a little bit of a right turn and decided to call me up early. And she said, well, you can introduce the board members, which is fine, right? No problem. So I introduced Laura Lee Mondel, I introduced Tamara Romberg, and when I went to say Randy's name, my wife has an uncle, Randy Taylor, and Randy Taylor came to my head, and right before I said Taylor, I knew that wasn't right, but I froze and I couldn't come up with Miller, and I introduced him as just Randy, and the kids thought it was great. They're like, hey, it's just Randy. But I was embarrassed, and I am sure it embarrassed you, Randy, and the first thing Randy said to me, I said, you can't remember Miller? Such a good point, but I do apologize. It's not typical of me, but it ended up being humorous, but it was also embarrassing, so I'm sorry for that. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Any other board members have comments they'd like to make?
I would just like to comment on my experience I had today at Chesterville Elementary. I got a few weeks ago, I was actually at Chesterville Elementary with Dave Cobb. We've been going around doing some school visits, and I was invited to come and share in the owl pellet experience. And as a former teacher, I know about owl pellets, and it was a tremendous fifth grade class. The kids were so engaged, all the things, Eric, that you talk about, and lots of sparks were flying, and Heather Vitale did an awesome job just bringing in just integrating the lesson, and I learned a lot of things, so it was a great experience, and owl pellets are pretty cool things.
I do have something. You mentioned Chesterfield as a blue ribbon school, and I think you said it was their second time. There's another school in the district, Pond, it's their second time. And they've had 2 blue ribbons. If you look around the total district, there's no other district in the state of Missouri that has as many blue ribbon schools as Rockwood. We have probably 16 or 17 over the years, and that includes the high schools, the middle schools, and the elementary schools. I think if you look, you won't find any other district that has anything close to that. The next thing, thank you, Eric, for mentioning Amanda. She's one of my students. I mean, I'm mentioning Deborah Brewer, but the one sitting next to her is Amanda Boyette. They're in the same cohort, in the same class, and they're buddies from Washington, except that Amanda has moved to Wentzville this year. But they're both in the class. They're wonderful students, just because I'm their advisor. And since you mentioned Maryville, I'll mention it again. Maryville is hosting National NNER Conference today, tomorrow, and Saturday. And Rockwood is well represented there. We have at least 3 people that are some of the main speakers. We have Patrick Fisher, the principal at Wild Horse. He presented this afternoon. Wonderful presentation. Sound like Donald Trump. Terry Harris is presenting tomorrow morning very early. He's also a tremendous speaker. And Chris McGee, the assistant principal at Rockwood South, he's presenting tomorrow afternoon. So that's three three of the speakers are Rockwood, and this is typical of the teachers and people at Rockwood. They're always out presenting, and that looks good for Rockwood and makes us feel good. Thank you, guys.
Kinder. The comments? I do have one then. As I've said to previous board members, I'm a very big fan of the Boy Scouts of America. I think they do a wonderful job with the young men in our community. And we have a young man here tonight, Josh. Stand up for a second and say hi. Josh is from Troop 677, and he's working his way toward Eagle Scout. And I imagine if he's here tonight, he's probably working on the communications or the citizenship merit badge, one or the both of those. But he's from Wildwood, and I just wanted to recognize him and wish him the very best. Thank you for being here. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda items. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items as submitted?
So move.
A motion and a second. Do we have any discussion about any of the agenda items?
I do have two things again.
All right.
Number one, donations. That's in the consent agenda. We have $1,379.96 from Jennifer Mancuso. Donations to the staff and students at the Early Childhood Center to buy 4 Apple iPads and 4 convertible handle stand cover cases. Then Waldhorse Elementary, the PTO, $3,280.90. Purchase curriculum materials for student use. And that gives us a grand total this year of over $364,000, $364,475, which I think was about what we raised last year. We still have another 2 months of donations. So that's really excellent.
Another one? Or were those with the two?
That was the two.
All right. Any other discussion of the consent agenda items? The motion is to approve the consent agenda items. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. That passes. Thank you. We'll move on to the regular agenda items. I think we have a proclamation for the National School Lunch Week, and I think Carmen Fisher is going to join us. And while she's coming up, can I get a motion to approve the proclamation designated October 9th through the 13th as the National Lunch School Week?
Moved.
Have a motion and a second. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board. National School Lunch Week theme this year is School Lunch Recipes for Success. This theme gives us the opportunity to make recipes that students enjoy, such as chocolate chip power balls, which I believe you had a sample of this evening back there, Jill prepared for you. And then we offer those in the elementary and the middle school. And then also this week we were able to offer meatloaf made from scratch. And so we're starting to incorporate some more scratch-made items into our menus. So this lunch theme fit very well into what we're trying to accomplish. So the National School Lunch Week emphasizes the healthy foods that are offered daily in Rockwood schools. School lunches are healthier than ever with more fruits and vegetables and whole grains. This week we helped educate parents and students about all the benefits of our lunch program and the appealing choices that we offer. With the help of our great communications department, we were able to put together a video to educate our parents about what a snack pack is. It allows flexibility for students. If they don't like what's offered, they can kind of mix it up and try some new things, or standbys that they know they like: yogurt, cheese, hard-boiled eggs, that kind of thing. So during the 2016-2017 school year, we served over 1.3 million lunches to Rockwood students. While it's a federally funded program, it provides nutritionally balanced, healthy meals to students every day. And the Wellness Impact Report in 2013 showed that the healthy eating at school correlates with higher test scores and less absenteeism. The National School Lunch has served the nation's children for over 60 years. So I'd like to invite you at any time to stop by and have breakfast or lunch with us in the cafeteria. We'd be welcome to have you. And then you can follow us on Twitter as well at RSD Child Nutrition on Twitter. So.
Thank you. I think we do have I'm sorry.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Talk to us about what you're doing with local farmers.
So we do purchase locally. We purchase from 3 Girls and a Tractor. It's a small farm out in Marthasville. It's a family, mom, dad, 3 daughters. They have 1 tractor. And so we've been purchasing from them for a few years. This year we're brought in watermelon, tomatoes, cucumbers, lots of peppers, lots of fresh produce from them. In the spring, when lettuce crops were lettuce was difficult to source. It was very expensive from California, Florida. Because of the weather conditions, we were able to bring in local lettuce from Three Girls and a Tractor, so that really helped us continue to offer salads to our students and staff. So
I just think that needs to be mentioned because
know
I
you did
think
that. That's
is
fabulous. That really is.
very, very cool that you, and I've said this to you before, right? You have a very hard job. Not that the rest of us don't have hard jobs, but the fact that you have to, you've had to ramp up, you know, making everything so much more healthy. And so you've really done a great job.
No matter how good the food tastes, you just always have to battle that it's just not cool for kids to say that lunch food is a cool thing, you know. Although some do, there's no doubt about that some do, but it's Laura Lee's right. I mean, I think it's to some degree it's thankless because you don't get to hear your customers' accolades genuinely like somebody normally would, you know, if you were dealing with adults or what have you.
I believe we do have a declaration, and Board of Directors member Randy Miller is going to read that for us.
National School Lunch Week official proclamation. Whereas the National School Lunch Program has served our nation admirably for over 60 years through advanced practices in nutrition education, and whereas the National School Lunch Program is dedicated to the health and well-being of our nation's children, and whereas the National School Lunch Program has been joined through the years by many other excellent child feeding programs, and there is evidence of continued need for nutrition, education, and awareness of the value of school nutrition programs. Now therefore, we the Rockwood Board of Education of the Rockwood School District do hereby proclaim the week of October 9th through the 13th, 2017 as National School Lunch Week. And we encourage all residents to become aware and concerned about their children and their own nutritional habits in hope of achieving a more healthful citizenry for today and for the future.
Thank you very much.
And I would like to personally thank all you guys in the nutrition department. I mean, I've been in the lunchroom many times, and it's almost controlled chaos, if you will, because it's hurry up, get in, and get out. I mean, so you guys really work super hard to feed our kids, and we truly appreciate it. Mm-hmm.
Armin, what did we do before we had the National School Lunch Program? 'Cause it's been here for 60 years. Do you have any idea?
Kids brought meals from home. It was depending on the teacher, I think, for a lot of times.
But it wasn't a controlled program. It was just, okay. Yeah, 'cause I think I'm the only one here had lunch before they had the program.
Is there any other discussion of this motion? The motion is to approve the proclamation for National School Lunch Week. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you.
All right, the next issue is bond issue purchases. I think Chris Friend is going to join us. I need a motion to approve the bond issue purchases and related contracts between $7,500 and $150,000 as submitted.
So move.
A motion, a second. First of all, which bond issue? This is the
Good evening. This is bond issue. The first item is bond issue 2015.
15, okay.
Yep. This item is actually part of our capital projects planning process. We did several $1 million worth of roofing projects in bond issue 2015. We're in a position now as we transition into bond issue 2017 that we need to assess our roofing systems again. This is a all-encompassing survey that they cover. We're approaching 4 million square feet under roof right now. So that means we have 4 million square foot of roof that we need to check, make sure, verify conditions. So this is a survey that this firm goes out, does an assessment of our roofing systems, gives us the expected life cycle of what we have out there, updates all of our CAD files and background files on each roofing system in the district. So we are now in the position after bond issue 2015, with all the work we did, we need to make another assessment moving forward for bond issue 2017.
Question on this item? Okay, I think there's another one.
Yep.
Thank you.
Second item is bond issue 2017. This is actually soils borings and soils geotechnical surveys for Gagey Elementary. Anytime we identify an area where we're going to add on to an existing building, we want to get a good idea of what the subsoil conditions are, so we can prepare for any unsuitable soils that may occur during the footings and foundations process of a building addition. So this is an engineering firm that basically comes in, does soil borings, gives us an analysis of what they think is below grade before we break ground.
Chris, what's a shear wave velocity assessment?
That is actually, it takes it basically measures the stability of the ground around that area. It helps indicate what the seismic, I don't want to, code's not the right word, but each building is assigned a seismic code. And it dictates the amount of seismic bracing you have to do with your ceilings, your electrical, it kind of dictates, depending on where you fall in that process, on how much structural integrity you have to give the building for earthquake prevention.
That starts tomorrow and
Yes, we'll
runs through
engage this
November.
firm immediately. They've been out on the site and have identified the areas with the architect that they're going to drill, so within the next week or two.
That's for the addition that we're putting at Gagey.
Correct.
Okay.
Questions or discussion? All right, the motion is to approve these two items. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. That passes. Thank you. As promised, we're coming down to the end. We have a very short agenda tonight. I think we have proposed agenda items for the October 19th meeting to take a look at. There they are. We have about another week if anybody wishes to add anything to these. There they are. There's consent. So if any board member or anyone else would like to add something to the agenda, I think we're going to have a pin put together that might get added. I don't think it can be done in that amount of time or not, but perhaps.
Probably not next week.
Okay. So those are them. Okay. Not next week. I meant the week after. You're right. This is next week, isn't it? Okay. So probably not by 1 week. Any future agenda items and events to attend? Anybody has? I think there's. Last time they handed out a list of what some of those things were, so everybody has those. Are there any other things anybody would like to bring up tonight? If not, we will adjourn. Thank you.